What's up guys, Chris from GQ37. Today I'm talking about something other than my Infiniti, talking about our other vehicle, my wife's primary car. This is our 2016 Mazda CX-9 Signature Edition. This is primarily my wife's car. It's our grocery getter, family hauler, and on my gig nights and days that I'm playing somewhere. As you know, I'm a musician. If you've been following the channel, I'm a saxophone player. You can check out my music channel and more of my music right here, starting with my new single, Essential. But yeah, so I'm a musician. I'm headed to a gig right now, which is why I'm dressed a little bit more fancy than usual, living up to the GQ37 name, right? Anyway, this has been a wonderful vehicle. We've had it for 4 years now this month, and so I thought I would do a 4-year ownership review, pros and cons, right now. Alright guys, so just diving right into it. I bought this on Halloween in 2016. This had just come on the lot and I had never bought a brand new car before. I didn't plan on it. I really like buying used vehicles. It's a much better value. However, my family and I, my ever-growing family, we had my daughter was 2 at the time, and we were talking about having a second child, which my son is 2 now. So we definitely did that. But we knew that the FX35 that we had at the time, as much as we loved it, I'm a Nissan fanboy, so the FX35 we had for 5 years when we first got married, and it was a great vehicle. I love that VQ, but it was just a little bit tight for not so much for the car seats, but for me hauling equipment and my family going on these trips sometimes with me, because a lot of times I go out of town for gigs and I bring my family along because it's like a paid vacation, right? So I'm playing a lot of corporate events and private events and weddings and different things, and so I bring them along for the ride. But to haul my equipment, I would have to fold the second row down, at least partially, and then my daughter can't ride back there. So that was a bit of a problem. So I knew we needed a vehicle with 3 rows. We don't use the third row in this. I just keep it fold down all the time just to haul my equipment. It's just a longer vehicle, and it's done a great job at that. That's one thing I love about this, is it's very roomy. So diving into it, starting with what attracted me to the vehicle was the look of it. It's got a great shape. It reminded me a lot of our FX35, and so the grille, especially the front end, the headlights, very aggressive. I like the shape of it, and this was pre Land Rover Velar, but now that the Velars are out, this reminds me a lot of that shape, but this came first, so I still like the look of this, but it just reminds me, it looks way more upscale than other vehicles in its class to me. I think Mazda punches above its weight in this category, and they're trying to up their game, and the quality, the fit and finish on the inside speaks volumes to that. My wife didn't really have a lot of picks on what she wanted. She just knew she wanted pearl white this time for the color, and we've always done gray in the past, and so I made sure to get pearl white. But if she was choosing the exterior, I was gonna opt for the cooler interior, and so I went with the Signature Edition. Obviously, I was attracted to the way it looked. The inside, I went with the Signature Edition because I wanted this cinnamon color seats. It reminds me of the saddle brown leather I had on my 2002 Special Edition Miata. I love that color combination, the gray and the medium brown. So as soon as I saw that, it brought back those memories, and I thought that the brown broke up the black. There's a lot of black in here, and only subtle touches of the aluminum color, but otherwise it would have just been a lot of black, or I could have got the beige tan interior, which I don't like. As a car detailer, it stains so easily, and having kids and just yada yada yada, I just did not want that. So I knew this looked very classy on the black, and it broke up again so much of the monotonous black that was in here. Speaking of, that is one of the things for the Signature. Not only did it come with the cool interior, you get this real wood. It's not imitation wood. You also get the LED illuminated grille, which, okay, it's cool, but it's not something that would make me buy the vehicle, but it is nice. It also comes standard with all-wheel drive. There's a few other little features that come standard, but otherwise the interior is very upscale. Nice soft touch plastics everywhere you would expect them, and it feels premium. It does not feel like a Mazda at all. Another thing I've already mentioned, but I just love the cargo space in this. I fit all my gear in here without having to fold down the middle row at all, and so I can bring my whole family on a trip. And we've got, normally I don't bring this much. Just showing an example of how much stuff I fit in here right now. But normally I don't have to bring as much stuff as I do on this particular gig. But if we're going out of town, I can still bring suitcases. I can bring my instruments and whatnot. And so it is pretty generous cargo space. And then if you fold down the middle row, of course, you've got even more. I've got the 20-inch wheels on here. I've got one gripe with that, but it's not the size, and I'll talk about that in a minute. The turbo, I love the turbo. The 2.5-liter turbo, coming from the VQ35, I was used to the power and torquiness of that, and it's a good engine. I love it. Even in the VQ-DE form, it's a good engine. The only thing I miss about that is the sound, because this has plenty of power. 250 horsepower, 315 foot-pounds of torque with premium gas, which is all that I use in this thing. I'm so used to using premium in my Infiniti that I don't worry. You can use regular in this. It knocks the horsepower down to about 225, I think, but you get the 315 foot-pounds of torque regardless. So that's a plus. But this thing is plenty peppy. All the torque is under 5,000 RPM, which is where you need it in an SUV for just daily driving, red light hopping, getting on the on-ramp. And this has plenty of power for either of those situations, whether you're getting on the on-ramp, merging, or you just need to gun it at the red light so you can get in the next lane or something. It has plenty of power. It feels just as peppy as the VQ and the FX, so no worries there. Gas mileage is good, so that's a plus. I average, if I'm just doing city-only driving, about 21, and that's gunning it from time to time, and staying in the pedal. Mixed is about 23, but if I'm doing just highway, interstate, I'm about 25. The best I've gotten was 26, but that was on back roads in like a 55-mile-an-hour zone the whole way. But that's using premium gas. If you use regular, it might not be quite that good. Not sure, but all in all, much better gas mileage than I got with my FX, for sure. One of my favorite features, though, of the Mazda is the Bose center point. The sound system on this thing is really amazing. As a musician, I'm kind of picky about sound, but the Bose on this, they did a nice job. I don't know if it's true or not, but the salesman told me that they copied the specs from the Bose system in the Porsche Cayenne, and they put the same type of system in this. Could be. I mean, if Bose designed that one for that, they could easily just reuse some of those specs, and I'm sure they do that for other cars. But this is much better than what's in my Infiniti G37. Best Bose car system that I've heard so far. It doesn't have a CD player, which I didn't even notice for like 2 weeks after I bought the car. Not a big deal. Who listens to CDs anyway, right? But it does have 2 USB ports in the console, so you can put, a 500 gig flash drive or something in there if you want. I have a 32 gig, which holds most of the music I'm going to listen to. Bluetooth streaming, as well as, of course, phone calls, and you've got the Pandora app on the screen. But again, very happy with the Bose sound system in this. Let's see if there's any other super duper highlights. Again, I like that the middle row, it's a lot of SUVs have this, but you can slide for leg room in the middle row. You can slide those seats backward and forward. If you are using the rear third row, it's pretty easy access. Even with a car seat, you can flip up the seat pretty easily and slide it forward to get back there. So that is a nice thing. There is rear middle row AC vents, but there aren't any in the third row, which is a complaint I've heard from some owners. It probably would be for me if I put people back there, but I haven't. I've only put equipment back there. But there's AC vents and controls in the middle row, second row, just not the third. But that may not be an issue for you. Just wanted to throw that out there. So getting to the cons, starting with that, I mentioned with the interior, the only con I really have, and this is something that I could fix, but there's a lot of piano gloss black plastic in here, and that scratches really easily, but it also shows dirt really easy, like dust, not dirt, but dust. Like, I clean the vehicle regularly, but within a day or two you're going to have specks of dust on it, and it just shows on the gloss black, the piano black, whatever you want to call it, the shiny plastics. It does show. So at some point I'm probably going to have that vinyl covered with my vinyl guy, either with carbon fiber or just some aluminum colored vinyl to cover up the piano gloss black plastic. I think that'll help with my OCD. Again, that's not a big deal at all. I don't really have any big gripes with this vehicle at all. Even after 4 years, it's been great. but I'm trying to think of some things that do bother me that I would change if I could. There's the third row vents would be a good design change there. I wish it had cooled ventilated seats like some vehicles. You know, a lot of Lexus has that. The new FX 37s, QX70s, I say new, they stopped making it in 2017, but the second gen FX had those. Even the G37 convertible has that. I would love to have cooled seats in these, and that may be something they're adding in the later models. This is 2016. If you got a 2020 or something that has it, let me know. That's a cool feature. I know in 2019-ish, somewhere around there, they added captain's chairs for the second row, bucket captain chair seats that you can get as an option, and that's pretty cool. I would still go with this just to have the extra seat in the middle. I have used from time to time, or just to put stuff there. But that's a cool option. The other gripe I've had is with the wheel. I had the paint flake off on one of the wheels on this. It just started peeling off and it looking horrible. And it didn't do it on the other wheels, just one wheel. But even though my vehicle was still under factory 36,000 mile warranty at the time, and I have the extended warranty on this, they would not cover it because I did not buy the wheel warranty or insurance or something like that. So I hopped on eBay and I ended up getting a refurb wheel for $190 shipped, and just ate it and had that swapped out, and it's been fine. But the paint is starting to wear on the other ones. It's not peeling off, but it's starting to wear. You can see some of the black showing through. So I think the paint's just not very good on the wheels on these. And as a detailer, even if I don't use tire spray and stuff that often, but when I do, I make sure to clean the wheels and wipe all the excess off, because you know that could cause that. I don't think that's the issue with this, but nevertheless, I've let Mazda know, and they've let me know that they basically don't care. The navigation leaves a little bit to be desired. It does the job and everything, but it's a little bit backwards from any other system I use, including my Infiniti, and it's definitely not as intuitive as say a Garmin. You know, I love my Garmin. I have lifetime updates, and I think that's the way it should be. This had updates for the first 3 years till the manufacturer warranty ran out, and I updated it a couple times a year until last year when it ran out. But even still, you know, just the way you have to put in things, you know, first, and like the order of input for the address, and then sometimes there's streets that are really old that it doesn't even find it. It doesn't even give you an option when you look up some of these things, and that can be a bit frustrating. So most of the time I still end up just using Google Maps and inputting the address in my phone, or just texting into Google and then hitting the directions button. And I think that's probably the way it's going to go, not too distant future with vehicles. Is, you know, they're just going to integrate the Apple CarPlay and the Android devices, and you're just going to have Google Maps show up on your screen. It'll just beam it from your phone to the screen on your console, and that'll be that. That way it's always updated, it's the most accurate probably of anything out there, versus constantly updating the SD card in these things. Which, another thing, if you don't have navigation in your Mazda CX-9, if you didn't spring for the navigation or whatever package, all it is an SD card, you know. So you have the slot in your console. You could always buy an SD card offline, eBay or somewhere, or from the dealership, and boom, your Mazda will have navigation. So the same thing with the Ford Explorers, and a lot of vehicles are like that. It's just an SD card with the stuff programmed on there. So that's always an easy add-on if you want to do it later. But again, I think the phones and all that is kind of the way to go. Only other gripe I can think of, and it's not a big deal, is I've had some brake clicking noise with this. I started about 2 years in, so I did take that in to get looked at, and they said it was something with the brakes or the rear brakes. It's not hurt anything, but the only way to fix it would be to change the brakes, and I wasn't ready to do that. It wasn't time, but the time is coming up very soon for that, and so hopefully that will remedy that clicking. And just when you're not all the time, it's not a squeak, it's just a click. I thought it was a transmission thing, but they assured me it was brakes. So letting off from a stop to go, sometimes it makes a little bit of a click noise. It's kind of hard to describe, but they heard it, they knew what I was talking about. Apparently it's kind of common, but the way to fix that is with the brakes, and they've changed something in the later model years. So this may be a 2016 exclusive. One of those things was getting the first model year run. Sometimes there's some kinks they haven't worked out, which is why I got the extended warranty, because this was a first year model run. But that's all I can think of. I really love the vehicle. Again, I would buy it again. So if you're looking at one of these, new or used, I think it is an incredible value. And if you can find a used one, I say go for it. It's been a great vehicle for us. Thankfully, haven't had to use the warranty yet. It's been very reliable. Only had to change a battery and routine maintenance, tires and fluids and whatnot. But it's been great. I would do it again, so I highly recommend if you're looking for a 3-row SUV or any SUV, definitely check these out. It punches above its weight. I didn't feel like I was downgrading from going from an Infiniti to this at all. So I would do it again and probably will do it again. So thanks so much for watching, guys. Hopefully this is helpful for you, and I will see you guys in the next video.